Amaya Carter pressed her fingertips against the cool window of seat 3B, watching the golden morning light stretch across the tarmac at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. She pulled her worn green backpack closer, its frayed fabric brushing her lap like an old friend. It had followed her through bus rides, test days, and rainy walks home. Today, it accompanied her on a journey bigger than any she'd taken before. Her first solo flight, a T-16, Amaya carried herself with the quiet confidence of someone who had been told she didn't belong and proved otherwise. Her godmother, Dr. Evelyn Harris, had purchased the first-class ticket herself, proud of the girl who'd won top honors at a statewide science initiative. It wasn't just a reward. It was a statement. You belong in every room you walk into, no matter what they think. Amaya wore a faded gray hoodie, scuffed sneakers, and a calm, inquisitive expression. She had no interest in luxury or appearances. She had earned this place, this moment, and she clung to that truth like she clung to the strap of her backpack. The cabin slowly filled with executives in sharp suits and women with pearl necklaces. Their scent, a mix of perfume, leather, and money, wafted through the aisle. Amaya ignored the glances. She opened her favorite science book, her headphones nestled around her neck with no music playing, just silence. Peace. Until it shattered, the sound of brisk, high heels announced her presence before she appeared. Karen Mitchell, the head flight attendant, strutted down the aisle with a seasoned air of control and efficiency. Her uniform was crisp, makeup precise, and her smile practiced to the point of performance. She scanned each row with the intensity of a museum curator. When her gaze landed on Amaya, something in her demeanor shifted. There was no question, no check, no smile. "You're in the wrong seat," she said flatly. Amaya looked up, confused. "I'm in seat 3B. That's what my ticket says." Karen didn't ask to see the ticket. She barely glanced at the corner peeking out of Amaya's hoodie pocket before shaking her head, lips tight. "This is first class," she said sharply, her tone heavy with implication. "I know," Amaya replied quietly. She reached into her pocket and offered the ticket, still protected in its plastic sleeve. Karen snatched a glance at it, long enough to recognize it, but not long enough to register truth. "You need to move to economy. Now." The cabin fell silent. The suited man in 3C folded his newspaper. The woman across the aisle clutched her handbag a little tighter. No one said a word. Not one voice rose in protest. Amaya's fingers gripped the strap of her backpack until her knuckles turned white. She looked around, searching for a pair of eyes that would meet hers with kindness. There were none. Karen turned sharply to a junior attendant. "Take her bag. Escort her back. We're already behind schedule." Still, no one objected. Amaya stood slowly, refusing to let her shame be mistaken for guilt. She walked the aisle, past expensive shoes and half-hearted glances, each step a quiet rebuke to a room full of silence. No one offered her a hand. No one apologized. She reached economy and sat near the back, shoulders hunched inward. She stared out the window again, but the sun no longer warmed her. It was just light. Her phone vibrated in her pocket. She didn't cry. She didn't rage. She typed, "They made me leave my seat. Said I didn't belong. I'm in the back now." And then she sent it. She didn't know that message would change everything. Dr. Evelyn Harris was in a meeting at FAA headquarters in Washington when her phone buzzed. She stepped away quietly, read the text, and stared through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Then she made a single call. "This is Director Harris. Hold flight 263 immediately." "Ma'am, it's on the runway. Hold it at the gate. There's been a compliance violation involving a minor. Passenger rights. Discrimination. Full investigation starts now." Back at the airport, in the cockpit of Flight 263, Captain Michael Thompson received the alert and called off the pushback. The plane stopped. Passengers stirred. Whispers spread. In the forward galley, Karen Mitchell paused mid-sip. "What's going on?" she asked. "Hold request from the FAA," replied another attendant. "Someone filed a federal complaint. They're reviewing the passenger manifest." Karen's hand tightened around her cup. The captain announced a delay due to technical checks. No one questioned it, except the crew. No maintenance team arrived. No equipment was checked. Just silence in the airline's operations center. The report landed like a thunderclap. Passenger, Amaya Carter, seat, 3B. Action taken. Removed without ticket verification. Issue, federal complaint, FAA priority alert. Internal investigation required. Karen Mitchell had no idea she'd provoked a federal response, nor that Evelyn Harris wasn't just Amaya's godmother, but also the director of aviation safety. Back in the cabin, Amaya stared at her phone. It vibrated again. Stay where you are. Don't speak. Let me handle it. She took a deep breath. Her hands still trembled, but something inside her was settling. She wasn't alone anymore. Minutes later, the cockpit door opened. The captain stepped into the cabin and called, "Ms. Mitchell, come with me." Karen followed him in silence. Inside the cockpit, the headset was waiting. "Put it on," said the captain. She hesitated, then complied. A voice came through, measured, precise, cold. "This is Thomas Reynolds, FAA Oversight Manager. We are investigating a report involving a minor passenger removed from her assigned first-class seat without cause." Karen's mouth opened to explain, but the voice continued. "She presented a valid ticket, and no verification was made. You acted on assumption. Is that correct?" A pause. "Yes," she admitted. "Was the passenger black?" Another pause. "Yes." "And did you ask any white passengers to show their tickets?" Silence. "No," the voice concluded. "You will return to the passenger and offer a public apology. You will escort her back to 3B, and you will do so now. An FAA investigator will be waiting on the ground. We expect full cooperation." Karen's hand shook as she removed the headset. She stepped into the aisle. For the first time in her career, she felt the eyes of the entire cabin pierce through her uniform. Each step toward economy felt heavier than the last. When she reached Amaya, the girl didn't look up. Karen paused, cleared her throat, and spoke quietly. "There was a misunderstanding. Please return to your seat." Amaya stood. But before moving, she asked, "Why was I the only one asked to show a ticket?" Karen froze to no answer. "Just shame." Amaya didn't wait. She walked forward. This time, the aisle was no longer a corridor of rejection. It was a path back to where she belonged. She reached 3B and SAT. N01 applauded. N01 welcomed her. But the silence had changed. This time, it saw her. The plane finally took off, but the storm had only begun. Within hours, the FAA released a statement. Atlantic Blue Airlines followed with one of their own. "We are reviewing internal protocols following a federal investigation into discriminatory treatment aboard Flight 263. We affirm that every passenger has the right to their assigned seat without bias or assumption." Karen Mitchell's employment was terminated. FAA policies were amended. The Carter Clause was created, a new federal regulation requiring two-step verification for seat assignments and mandatory anti-bias training for airline staff. Amaya's name spread quietly through flight crew lounges, high school sociology classes, and HR training slides. But she never sought fame. She turned down interviews, declined magazine features. She just wanted to be a girl who traveled with dignity. Months later, at a passenger management seminar, a professor asked her, "How did you stay calm when no one defended you?" Amaya answered softly, "Because I knew I was right, and because someone believed in her." Years from now, when travelers pass through terminals and glance at safety posters on jet bridge walls, they'll see her name written small at the bottom of new guidelines. Not in bold, not in gold, just there. Like the truth, passenger rights are not optional. Equity is not a courtesy, and silence is not neutrality. And every young girl in a hoodie with a valid ticket and a dream will walk down the aisle with her head held high because of what Amaya Carter proved that day in seat 3B.